All right, Lisa, thanks very much. We're joined by Congressman Rodney Davis this morning, representing the 13th District. Good morning.
Good morning, Cynthia.
All right, I want to get into some things that have been making a lot of news lately out of Washington. The Paycheck Fairness Act has been getting a lot of coverage. Tell us a little bit about your position with it. We've been seeing a lot of, news about Republicans blocking it in the Senate and the House.
Yeah, first off, I am for making sure that everyone receives equal pay for equal work. I mean, as a husband and as a father, I would hate to see my wife and my daughter not get paid just because they're doing the same job as someone else. This bill in the Senate, I mean, even some outlets like the Boston Globe and the New York Times said that it's a seriously flawed bill. I would expect something out of the House that hopefully is going to be a much more balanced approach, and we can come together and ensure that we don't have problems like I talked about with my wife and with my daughter, or anybody has to experience that.
What issues do you take with the bill as it currently stands?
Well, first of all, some of the provisions that were in there were actually estimated to possibly cost opportunities. And we want to make sure that we put forth a piece of legislation in the House of Representatives that is going to actually address any problems that may occur or may not occur.
Now, of course, Democrats are saying just the opposite. They're saying that this helps women not only have better compensation, but it would make it, more conversation about compensation, talking about documenting specific pay for workers. So why not have that piece of legislation?
Well, that's because the House is going to offer up their own. I mean, that's what happens in Washington all the time. We are one equal branch with the Senate. The Senate will always propose their plan. We'll propose ours. And then hopefully we'll come up with some common sense solutions right in the middle.
All right, so we'll see what happens with that coming up soon. Another thing making a lot of news, Congressman Paul Ryan's budget. Talk a little bit about what things that you like in it, because you voted in favor of it.
I did. First of all, the fact that I like the most is that it balances. I think our vision for America, which is what this document is, it's not going to actually be put into action. It is a vision for America's financial future. And any vision that doesn't balance, I think, is seriously flawed, because our next generation is the one who's going to pay for a vision that doesn't have a budget that balances. So that is the provision I like the most. There are other provisions that I think we actually take Medicare as we know it today and keep it, not only for this generation using it, not only for the next generation, but for all generations to come. It actually saves the Medicare system as we know it, and then provides other opportunities for even more cost-effective coverage for those future generations like my children.
There are a lot of cuts to the tune of $5.1 trillion to some social programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, food stamp, college loan programs. And a lot of people depend on those services. So what do you say to those who are worried about how this is going to affect their everyday life?
Only in Washington could a program be called a cut when it doesn't grow as fast as someone wants it to. The fact of the matter is, it's just wrong when people say that we've actually voted to cut Pell Grants when I actually voted to increase the level of Pell Grants. And because we're actually keeping the program solvent and keeping it at this higher rate, it doesn't grow as fast as what someone else thinks it should in Washington. They call it a cut. And that's just wrong. It's not factual. So those are the types of arguments we're going to continue to face throughout this political funny season. And I would urge you and all your viewers to make sure they go in and find out the true facts.
Congressman Rodney Davis, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Cynthia. Great to be here.
We've got